You know? I still remember it like yesterday. That night in San Siro, when Milan played Juventus in a title-deciding match. A win meant that Milan could distance themselves from Juventus, both psychologically and in points. And it didn't take long for Milan to score a goal. And then, we all know what happened. I'm not here to remind you of the scene. The game ended in a 1-1 draw, and Juventus went on to win the title by 4 points that season. And Milan? Well, we endured one of the most painful periods in our recent history. Zlatan and Thiago Silva were sold, and the rest was history. A history that we don't like remembering. That being said, many people believe that the entire course of history could have been different if that Sulley Muntari goal stood. Milan could have gone 4 points clear of Juventus and given them their first loss of the season, which could have certainly affected their momentum and how they approach the rest of the season. I kinda see that point, but I'm here to put an objective answer to that question, or at least as objective as hindsight allows us to do so. What if that goal stood? Could it change the conclusion of that league? Would it prevent a painful banter era that came after that? And more importantly, would it affect the next 8 league titles that Juventus won? Well, stick around to find out, because we're gonna explore an alternate history. Right, so I'm gonna play both scenarios here. Scenario A, Juventus still wins the league title despite the goal, and Milan finishes second. And to be honest, this version of alternate history wouldn't be too different than what already happened. Juventus will still dominate the league for the next few seasons, and for us, well, it would have been painful few seasons ahead. But the second scenario is what makes it interesting. In this scenario, Milan wins the league title and Juventus finishes second in the league. Many people think that this would have prevented the downfall of Milan, that Milan would have kept Zlatan and Thiago Silva and signed Tevez and would have kept winning and winning and winning and winning and winning. Alright, chill. Let me tell you something. The writing was on the wall. At the time, Juventus was the club whose house was most in order behind the scene. They just had their new stadium, a manager that demanded perfection, were financially healthy, and had the confidence of a title challenge. On the other hand, Milan was still financially dependent on Silvio Berlusconi, and that became a massive problem when he turned the tap off. Yes, it would have been nicer to have an extra league title, but it would have only delayed the inevitable hard times that were ahead. It also didn't help that we had a jaded squad who reached the end of their life cycle. The loss of legends like Seedorf, Nesta, Gattuso, and Pippo Inzaghi were too heavy to replace in a single summer. And with the financial difficulties of the club and the rise of oil and state clubs like PSG and Man City, it would have been inevitable to sell Zlatan or Thiago Silva to either of them. The bottom line is that we could all moan about the ghost goal and how it changed the course of Serie A for that decade. The reason why Milan didn't win the league title wasn't because of the ghost goal. It was because Juventus was the best team throughout the course of that season, and particularly down the stretch. Milan still had a 1-point lead at the end of that Juve game, and didn't hold on to it well enough in the second half of that season to earn the title. At the end of the day, one club was micromanaged to perfection behind the scenes, while the other failed to adapt to modern times and was left behind. I'm Football Drawn, and I'll be making similar content for Sempre Milan. I also do this kind of content on my own channel as well. If you like this one, feel free to visit my channel in the description. Thanks for watching, and Forza Milan!